let's do this. Next up, we have Glass Chapel Top 1 Layout by Manny Heffley from Geometry Dash. YouTuber made this song himself, from what I can see. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, support this channel as much as you want. 2 disclaimers. Number 1, this is my first time hearing this track ever, so I will be pausing a lot as I will be pointing things out as I hear them. And number 2, this is recorded live on stream on a single take, so I might stumble upon my words. Whatever happens, happens. So, with that being said, let's check this out. Glass Chapel, let's see what you got. Okay, so we're having several layers over here. We have several elements going on. We have what sounds to be is it a saxophone or is it just a synth? Not entirely sure, giving us an overlying melody. We have a piano in the background giving us some arpeggios. Arpeggios is when you play a chord one note at a time. And we are having an organ, like a church, like not a church, but like a smaller scale organ, giving us some held chords, allowing us to have this somewhat, not really ominous, but like good ominous, suspended feeling of this thing. Solid way for making an intro. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, that's a saxophone. That's a saxophone. Maybe Took's that? I don't know. Oh, we're building towards something? Ooh. Okay, so we dropped the beat. The saxophone was playing the motif. Motif being the smallest version of our musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from, right? And now, of course, we switch over the very suspended, ominous background, and now we are doing drum and bass. So, let's see where this goes. And yeah, right now, this is being carried by the bass line. So when it comes to music, there are many things that you can have that are relatively free. Is the video distracting me? Not really. I'm just figuring out my thoughts as I go. So when it comes to music, usually you want to develop around your motif. That's usually what you want to focus the music on. You want to make sure that that gets the spotlight one way or another, or that you're developing it one way or another. Whether you're hiding it somewhere else or it's straight up in your face kind of thing, you always want your motif to be present, except when it comes to the bass line. A bass line is usually, of course, played by a bass. In this case, it's a synth playing it on the lower end, and bass lines tend to be a lot more free in that sense, a lot more free form, very, very different from everything else, and you can get away with it. Bass players, that's one of the reasons why bass players are so passionate about bass. It's because of the amount of freedom that they get. Like, unless you're doing something like a walking bass, which walking bass, it's a jazz thing when you are basically playing scales while moving between chords, and it's very straightforward. Like boom 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 boom. Like, it's very, very straightforward bass line when it comes to that. The difficulty is in being able to link all the chords together, that kind of thing. But it's usually outside of that. Bass is one of the most free instruments that you can have. It's one of the most free instruments because you can do almost anything you want, and as long as it fits, it fits. Like, yes, some bass players, like, there's always, like, yes, you need to carry the bass line. Like, you want to make sure that the lowest note of the chords are being played. But after that, you can do almost anything. And you will get away with it. Because bass players can do that. Because when it comes to bass, this is the part I wanted to explain the first time before I started weaving. Every other instrument is in the plane of, drums, middle, high, treble, all that kind of stuff. And then the bass, no matter what is being played above, the bass has its own room. And no matter what is happening at the top, the bass will always be audible. If you have a good engineer, if you have it well mixed, that is. And it will not get in the way if the bass player is good enough, but the bass player will still be able to do almost anything they want. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Okay. So yes, because then the other thing that is happening is the main melody, the saxophone, which I think now is more of a synth, is developing the melody. So it's doing smaller variations on the motif and pretty much allowing the bass line to do almost anything at once. And then we went off the ramp. Going off the ramp is a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial is just that there is no academic term for it, or if there is, I'm choosing not to use it for the sake of explaining things. And this is a way of transitioning between parts or between sections, in which you want to make your listener feel suspended up in the air, like, going off a ramp, waiting to see where you're going to land. How do you do that? Remove the drums. Or remove the main beat, and maybe the bass as well, and there you go. There you go. That's exactly what is happening right now. We're getting only the downbeat of the drums and the chords, and everything else feels suspended up in the air because we're not getting the full drum beat. So this is a way, and by the way, downbeat just means, the first note of a measure, that kind of thing. So, let's see where this goes. There we go, we're slowly reintroducing the drums. Okay, so now we are in a contrasting section completely. The melody is different. The drums are different now. Like, there's a little bit more snare on the thing. The bass line is a little bit different. And so I'm gonna explain, right? So we're discussing something called form. Petya, welcome today. How you doing? Form is just a structure of your piece. When it comes to instrumental music, you want sections, and these sections are usually described by letters. So from the start, all the way up until the going off the ramp section, we had section A. And that was the main motif. We had everything going on. It was all fine and dandy. Now we are in section B. We went off the ramp, we landed. We are doing a contrasting section. Things still sound familiar enough because most of the drum beat is familiar enough. The motif is just a variation of the motif, like the sax is playing a variation of the motif. The bass is still doing a similar shape, but in essence, things do feel different. It is a different melody, it is a different bass line, it is a different drum beat, but they are just similar enough that they feel like they are connected to one another. So this is a good way of developing really, really good way of developing your music. So let's see where this goes. Another moment, and Interesting. Okay, so we do two things over here. So this seems to be like the second half of section B. We drop the beat, but we keep the saxophone playing the melody. The saxophone is still developing that melody, and we're dropping the beat. And that is fairly unusual, because usually when you drop a beat, you want the full focus on your drum and bass. But in this case, not giving it is a pretty interesting thing. It's pretty interesting to see that it's not, that it's not your usual dropping of the beat. Very interesting. I'm just processing this because at this point we've done so many electronic tracks, but I hadn't seen something like this where the beat drops, but we keep the melody going. This is working. Yeah, let's see where it goes. Do not request songs just yet. So yeah, this is giving us a very fascinating counterpoint over here because of the nature of the contrast that we're having. So counterpoint is the study of melodies, how they are, how they interact with each other, how they develop, all that kind of stuff. And in this case, we are getting a bit of a meta counterpoint because usually counterpoint is something divided between two melodies or two or more melodies. It's usually a melodic thing because in music you have three components: melody, harmony, rhythm. And in this case, we are having the melody is being carried 100% by the saxophone. Like, that is, without a doubt, the saxophone is the melody. That's the melody section. That's where the whole focus is. And the rhythm is being carried by the drum and the bass. And now, with the beat dropping now so suddenly, we are getting a very interesting counterpoint between the melody and the rhythm as sections. Because there is relation, there is a bit of call and response there. There is an interaction between the two. It's just fairly unusual to see. This is drum and bass, pretty usual for that type of genre. There you go. So maybe we haven't done enough drum and bass. But yeah, let's see where it goes. Off the ramp we go again. We let the melody do its thing. We have some chords in the background. And now we transition to the piano. And I think this is the same piano that we had before. However, this is a little bit more sped up. In other words, it's a reduction of what we had in the intro. And instead of the piano being... Okay, so we have a reduction and an elongation going on at the same time. So reduction is when you take a musical idea and you compress it to happen over a shorter period of time. Don't request songs just yet, by the way. It's just going to get deleted. So reduction is when you have a melody. So let's say we have a 3-second melody. We compress it. Now it's a 1-second melody. Same melody. It's just happening over the course of 1 second instead of 3. So it's faster. The opposite of reduction is elongation. Elongation is we have a 3-second melody. Now we're going to stretch it. And now it's going to be a 5-second melody. Proportionately, everything is going to stay the same. So our reduction here is from the chords that we're playing from the organ. They're playing a little bit faster, and now they're being played on the piano. And our elongation, the arpeggios that we're playing in the piano are now being played by one of the synths a lot slower. Interesting way of flipping the script. Let's see where it goes. With the piano also playing part of the motif. Very lovely. And the synth has switched over to partially motif, partial arpeggiation. I like that this is building up, sounding with like a guitar chug, like it's metal. It's really cool. Enzo, welcome today. How you doing? And we... Okay, and we bring in the climax, or at least the drop over here. We bring in a very straight, very, very powerful drum with a bass. And we continue, though, that little motif, arpeggios part scale, just pushing everything, keeping that melody, that bass line in a very, very solid drop. Like, this is surprisingly straightforward for a first drop. Let's see where this goes. Oh yeah, this is in 5/4. Good catch, Ara. So yes, we are having this in an odd time signature. And the melody, that's why the melody sounded a little bit more elongated in this sense. And that's why, even though this is a very straightforward drum beat, it sounds like a drop because we are in 5/4. So what is being in 5/4? Once again, when it comes to music, 3 elements, right? Melody, harmony, rhythm. When it comes to rhythm, rhythm is the use of time. Time, how fast things happen, when they happen, duration, all that kind of stuff, placement and everything. We subdivide these into measures or bars. So that's just, these are the same term, by the way, just depends on who you're talking to. And these are determined by a time signature. So a time signature is 2 numbers, upper number, lower number. Upper number is just the number of notes in or beats in the measure. Lower number is which kind of beats we're going to be talking about. In English, it's super easy to remember which one is which, right? Because whole notes equals 1, half notes equals 2, quarter notes equals 4, eighth notes equals 8, 16th notes 16, so on and so forth. You just keep doubling it, right? So in this case, then 4/4 would be 4 quarter notes. How do you count this? Well, each quarter note is going to be its own number until you reach the number 4. You have that, and then the following measure, you repeat again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, if we change the upper number, in this case, to a 5, 5/4, we get a 5/4 measure. So we add a 5th quarter note, and instead of counting to 4, we count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which this one is known as an odd time signature because, it's an odd number, and it's very, very powerful when it makes things feel a little bit unstable. However, with 5/4, it's slow enough that it can feel a little bit tricky to realize, because it took me a moment to realize this was 5/4 and not 4/4, because the rest of the track had been in 4/4. Very straightforward. And then having the drop here in 5/4, yeah, you just accentuate the first and maybe the 4th beat, and that's all you need. So let's see where this goes. And we're having... Oh, and we have another melody high up, basically doing a flying melody. So flying melody, another colloquial term that I use. We have a very busy bass line, drum line. We have the middle with the synth doing the 5/4 thing. And high above, we have another synth doing a slower melody, just simpler, soaring, flying above everything else, kind of observing the landscape kind of thing. Deldix. Yeah, so there you go, look at that. So yeah, let's see, and welcome to the day, man. How you doing? So yeah. Really cool. And... I like it. So now we just add an extra layer to the 5/4 measure, and it's just nice. What do you think of the layout? What do you mean what I think of the layout? So, yes, you have that. We're having this. We are giving more to the drums. We are accentuating even more. We're giving an extra layer to the high... to the high end of that synth, of that flying melody. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. And we are getting a second synth harmonizing with the first synth. Harmonizing is, it's counterpoint. We have more than one melody. And right now, as I can see right now, there's 2 objects in the screen. So we have that kind of thing. So really good compositionally. And in this case, my understanding is that Manny made both the level and the song, the track, so it makes sense in this case that you would have this kind of scoring. You have a second object on the screen, now you do the thing. So yeah, there you go. Let's see where this goes. Okay, we bring back the piano, and it seems this is gonna be our outro. No synth in the background. And yeah, we're doing the 5/4 still. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We slow it down, and we leave it unresolved. We leave it unresolved. So this is a very, very cheeky way of ending a piece. This is what is called a half cadence. So when you are making music, you're doing one of two things. You are building tension, or you are resolving that tension. The point between those two is a cadence. So there are many ways of doing cadences. However, there is one that holds a special place, which is the half cadence, where the point of a cadence is to resolve the chords. And cadence is not something unique to music. It applies to everyone. If you want to know why the California accent is so annoying, is because the cadence is backwards. Because when it comes to speech, right now you can hear my voice inflection usually goes slightly up as I'm not really done with the sentence, but it actually goes all the way down when I'm done. You can actually hear it, so that way I can take breaths, I can even drink some water, I can whatever, and you will still understand instinctively that I'm not. However, when you get the California accent, everything sounds like a question, because the inflection is all wrong, and it all goes upwards, so you never know when the cadence is, so you never know when they're done talking. So that is why a lot of people don't like the California accent, because you get things like that. And then we have that because the California accent is based on half cadences. They're never done talking, because that's how they can get away with never being done talking, because the whole thing is half cadence, because there is no resolution to it. And in this case, a half cadence, because usually the half cadence is built so that you leave the cadence to be resolved by the start of the next section. And that's how you do that. However, if you end a piece in a half cadence, you end with that, oh, is something else going to happen? Is something, I was expecting something else, but it didn't. Oh, it's over. So there you go. There you go. That's how this happened. And California raises. There you go. So yeah. There you go. That was Glass Chapel Top 1 layout by Manny Heffley, featured in Geometry Dash. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube archive video thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Become a member, support this channel as much as you want. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it down below. Zelnick, no, I did not say yet. If you want, yes, I'll be linking it down below. If you want to request songs and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord server and go to the LFA requests channel and go to the LFA request channels and follow the instructions on the pinned comment. I was reading one of the chats. If you're on the stream, now you can start requesting. Now you can start requesting if you're on the stream. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you want the full schedule in your local time zone, it is linked down below in the Discord and the Twitch channels. They both show them in your local time zone so that you don't have to worry about calculating or anything like that. And follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel where we put the VODs of our after shows when they happen, the gaming after shows. Games are Basterd. Link down below, or just search for the same username as James R. Basterd, swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. That was fun. That was fun. Glass Chapel by Manny Heffley. Really, really good stuff, man. But yeah, let's move on.